Cowboys Nation, stop everything you're doing. The Dallas Cowboys just dropped a bombshell that's gonna shake up the entire NFL. DeAndre Hopkins is coming to Big D, and I've got all the juicy details. You won't believe what Jerry Jones pulled off to make this happen. This could be the move that brings the Lombardi Trophy back to Dallas. Hit that play button now, because you don't want to miss a second of this. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver, or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a die-hard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. We're diving deep into the latest bombshell that's rocking the NFL world, and trust me, you're gonna want to stick around for this one. All right, let's cut to the chase. The Dallas Cowboys have just pulled off what might be the most insane mid-season trade in recent memory. Now, I know what you're thinking, another trade rumor? But hold on to your hats, folks, because this is the real deal. The ink is barely dry on the contract, and I've got the inside scoop for you right here. So, who's the lucky player joining America's team? Drum roll, please. It's none other than the electrifying wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. That's right. You heard it here. First, the Arizona Cardinals have agreed to send Hopkins to the Cowboys in a move that's sending shockwaves through the league. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty details of this trade, let's take a moment to appreciate what this means for our boys in silver and blue. Hopkins is a 5-time Pro Bowler and a 3-time first-team All-Pro. We're talking about a guy who's been one of the most dominant receivers in the NFL for years. His hands are like glue, his route running is poetry in motion, and his ability to make contested catches is second to none. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Cowboys didn't just land Hopkins, they got him for what many are calling a steal. The trade package includes a 2025 second-round pick and a 2026 conditional third-rounder that could become a second if Hopkins hits certain performance benchmark. When you consider the impact Hopkins can have on this offense, that's practically highway robbery. Now, I know some of you might be scratching your heads, wondering why the Cardinals would let go of such a talented player. Well, it's no secret that Arizona has been in rebuild mode, and with Hopkins' hefty contract, they were looking to free up some cap space and accumulate draft capital for the future. It's a classic case of one team's trash being another team's treasure. Let's talk about what this means for the Cowboys' offense. We already had a potent receiving core with CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, but adding Hopkins to the mix? That's like putting a turbocharger on a Ferrari. Dak Prescott must be doing backflips right now, knowing he's got another elite target to throw to. Picture this: Lamb stretching the field, Gallup working the sidelines, and Hopkins dominating the middle of the field. How in the world are defenses supposed to cover all that firepower? And let's not forget about Tony Pollard coming out of the backfield. This offense has the potential to be absolutely explosive. But it's not just about the passing game. Hopkins' presence on the field is going to open up running lanes for Pollard as well. Defenses will have to respect the deep threat, which means fewer stacked boxes and more room for our ground game to thrive. It's a win-win situation across the board. Now, I can already hear some of you skeptics out there. But what about Hopkins' age? Isn't he past his prime? Let me stop you right there. Sure, Hopkins is 32, but he's shown time and time again that age is just a number. Just last season, he put up over 700 yards and 3 touchdowns in just 9 games. The man still has plenty left in the tank, and with the weapons around him in Dallas, he won't have to shoulder the entire load. Let's talk about the financial side of things for a moment. The Cowboys have structured the deal in a way that minimizes the cap hit for this season. They've agreed to a reworked contract with Hopkins that spreads out his salary over the next 2 years, with some of it converted to a signing bonus. This means the Cowboys can make this move without compromising their ability to make other necessary additions or re-sign key players. Speaking of which, this move doesn't mean the Cowboys are done wheeling and dealing. There are rumors swirling that they might not be finished making moves before the trade deadline. Could we see another addition to bolster the defense? Maybe a veteran offensive lineman to shore up protection for Duck? The possibilities are endless, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Jerry Jones and the front office are working the phones as we speak. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. What does this mean for the Cowboys' Super Bowl aspirations? Well, folks, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's hard not to get excited. We were already considered contenders, but this move puts us squarely in the conversation as one of the favorites to represent the NFC in the big game. Think about it. We've got a high-powered offense, a defense that's been playing lights out, and now we've added one of the best receivers in the game. The NFC East is tough, no doubt about it, but this trade gives us a significant edge over our division rivals. The Eagles, Giants, and Commanders are going to have their hands full trying to game plan for this offense. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. There's still a lot of football to be played, and chemistry doesn't happen overnight. Hopkins will need time to learn the playbook and get on the same page with Doc. The good news is, he's known for his work ethic and football IQ, so I expect him to hit the ground running. One thing's for sure, practice at the Star is about to get a whole lot more competitive. Imagine Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore having to cover Hopkins every day in practice. Iron sharpens iron, and our secondary is going to benefit immensely from going up against one of the best in the business day in and day out. Now I want to hear from you, Cowboys Nation. What do you think about this trade? Are you as excited as I am, or do you have some reservations? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get a discussion going. And while you're at it, if you're loving this content, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be breaking down every aspect of this trade and its implications for the team in the coming days, so you won't want to miss it. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate the boldness of this move. The Cowboys are sending a clear message to the rest of the league we're all in. This isn't just about making the playoffs. This is about bringing the Lombardi Trophy back to Dallas. It's been far too long since we've tasted Super Bowl glory, and moves like this show that the organization is committed to doing whatever it takes to get us back to the promised land. As we look ahead to the rest of the season, the schedule suddenly looks a lot more favorable. Teams that might have been licking their chops at the prospect of facing the Cowboys are now going to have to go back to the drawing board. How do you game plan for an offense with this many weapons? It's a defensive coordinator's nightmare. In closing, Cowboys fans, buckle up. We're in for one hell of a ride. The addition of DeAndre Hopkins could be the missing piece that puts us over the top. The next few months are going to be exciting, and you can bet I'll be here every step of the way, bringing you all the latest news and analysis.